Hey guys, it's Gabe Eltaeb here. It is Double Impact over on Rumble. We record these and we put up on YouTube the next day. It is Wednesday, May 20th. What is going on? I feel like the weeks just evaporate now. I'm 47. I cannot believe that it just goes faster and faster. I can't get over that. I noticed it when I was about 17 or 18. Remember, I asked my grandmother about it. She said, yeah, the older you get, just the faster it goes. Mm-hmm. But here we are. 2026 is almost, more than a third and approaching halfway over. What the hell?
Yeah, man. My kids, I can't believe they have less than a month left in the school year. And it's a travesty, by the way. If I were made King Jericho of America, one of the first things I would do is make it so kids have a full summer vacation and they actually go back. Here's an idea. Let's harken back to the old days. They go back to school in fall. We used to go back the Monday after Labor Day. That was the first day of school. And now, not only do they go back in mid-August in some cases, my nieces down on the coast in Salinas, where we used to live, they go back to school like August 10th or 12th or something like that. Like, it's insane. And I would make it to where they have a full, or I was going to say, not only when they go back to school, it's early and still in the summertime, but they go back to school on like a Wednesday. So they only have like a couple days or some shit like that, where they have like a few days of the school week, and then they have their weekend. I'm like, well, you just came off of a fucking 2.5 month weekend. Like you can only do 3 days and you need another break. That's such bullshit. And also my kids we opt them out of state testing because I just think it's nonsense. Good for you. It's not for their benefit. It's just to find out how much money they're going to get. They don't give a fuck. So we always opt them out. And my kids are like, hell yeah, they just go to, some other class for the day and mess around or, separate papers for the nice ladies in the office or some shit and get Starbucks. So that's more of a better use of your time than that stupid state testing bullshit.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything's fine.
Yeah, that's two things I would change for sure in the school. No homework, ever.
Yeah, that too.
Home is for home. Home is for family and intimacy and love and connection with your mom and your dad and your brothers, chores, meals around the table, and the things that you want to do that will grow you and strengthen you in a social way with your family dynamic and your religion and all that. They think they're going to own kids from the panic to wake up in the morning, running out the house with the toast hanging in their mouth, go to class for 8 fucking hours. They don't really do recess and PE like they should anymore. And they're just training you to be a wage slave, a rat race office person. That's what they're doing. They're saying, we own you all day. You want to take a shit? You got to raise your hand. They're training you to put up with a 1.3% raise annually at your review. That's what we could afford. I mean, don't look at the stock price, but that's what we can afford to give you is 1.3 raise every year. And that's what it's for. And there should be no homework. I don't want to hear it from the study buddy assholes that like, America's behind in education. You got them 8 hours a day. You got them at the school for 8 hours. You can get all the learning done in that time. And stop talking about, I don't know, multiculturalism or whatever stupid shit they're wasting time on. Kids come out of school, they don't even know how to balance their bank account. You know what I mean? They don't even know how to file taxes, how anything useful works. But they know that America was probably pretty racist. They learned that in every lesson.
Well, you can put that on a resume.
Yeah, put that on your resume. I hate this country. And the other thing I would change is the summer break. Absolutely. You know when summer is, everyone? Summer is Memorial Day to Labor Day. No school. You get out in May and you go back in September. Leave people alone.
Yep.
They're only going to be little for a few years. You can make geniuses. You can make smart people. You can make straight A students in those months that I'm selecting from September to May and no homework. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. Do it right. My goodness. I've always thought the school should be run the same way as the military. There is no failing. You're not going to fail, private. Like, you're not failing.
Yeah.
You're passing. We're going to force you to pass. That's how school should be. Absolutely.
And the physicality of boot camp. Maybe not to that extreme, but you look at those old videos in black and white.
Age-appropriate physicality.
Yeah, but you look at those videos in black and white from back in the 60s and stuff, and those boys, they're like obstacle courses. They're doing pull-ups and push-ups, and they're running and they're climbing up shit. Like, that sounds great to me. And we have the money in this country to do that. We have the money to here in an ideal scenario. We were just talking about how they have the kids for 8 hours. Maybe have school provided lunches that are actually on plates, silverware, nutritious food. You can bring your food if you want to, if your parents are really against it or whatever, you got some dietary needs. But if it's healthy, all natural food prepared by people who care, why not have them eat lunch like through a lesson, have them eat in the classroom while they're learning? Maybe like make it a little lighter, something they can maybe not as hard to pay attention to since they have their food in front of them, but maybe continue the education through that if that's an issue, if they don't think their 8 hours is long enough, and then give them, a break, a recess. Yeah, maybe give them 3 10-minute breaks instead of a half-hour lunch. I don't know, but we have the money in this country to provide our kids a much better education publicly. And like you were saying, I think a kid's senior year should be dedicated to life prep.
Right.
Getting them, I mean, you're kind of doing that by, school starts at a certain time, so they're learning how to be somewhere on time. But like you said, balancing a checkbook, how to clean, how to apply for an apartment, what's a credit score, what's mortgage and interest rates and all that kind of shit, and investing. I mean, maybe here's a crazy idea: have the kids graduate with a little nest egg, maybe $1,500 from your school that they can't touch until they're 25 or 30, and let that accumulate. That'll give them something to pay attention to.
And to graduate, you have to be in an investment class. It could be a multi-year, multi-semester thing where you have to earn some money. You got to get a job outside school, and then you have to invest it correctly, and then you can't touch it till your mid-20s. It's a brilliant idea. Make them work for it and see how it works.
And we have the money to do it.
7,000 genders and perverted bullshit nonsense that these degenerate teachers want to do. That makes me want to segue to this thing that I saw. It's been going viral since yesterday. It really pissed me off when I saw it. Because I see this Kevin O'Leary guy, and he said, Gen Z is cooked because they're paying $28 a day for lunch. I don't know if those numbers are right, but you get his premise. And he's saying if you save the $28, you brown bag an apple, turkey sandwich on cheap bread, over the course of 15 years of saving and investing, you have enough to buy and put down on a house, blah, blah, blah. His premise is correct. He's not wrong about that. But I think the problem I have with these people that embarrass and humiliate and scold the millennials and the Gen Z for their avocado toast and their door dashing, which is fucking stupid. If I open my comment there at the top, the one I wrote, I'll paraphrase it. I've never used DoorDash because I saw what it cost when I went to go use it. When I heard about it, I'm like, I'm not buying a Big Mac combo that's overpriced at $15, then adding a delivery charge, and then you have to tip the poor bastard delivery. I'm paying $25 for a Big Mac combo, so it's cold when it gets. Are you out of your fucking mind? And the young people, they do. Have you ever DoorDashed? I don't do this shit. I got like 3 free Amazon food delivery like 5 years ago, so I used them because they were free, so it was the same price. But I would never pay the delivery fee. That's insane to me. But scolding these people, millennials and avocado toast and all this stuff, it is wasteful. It is stupid and foolish. But where is their energy to address the cause, the disease, and not the symptom? Why do you think you have hopeless people that are seeking pleasure constantly and vacationing and music festivals and eating out and all this? Why do you think you have people like that that are hopeless and don't believe in a future? Maybe because you weren't good parents. Maybe because you all got fucking divorced and they were neglected and abandoned. Maybe because you weren't there with religion and giving them meaning in life. So all you showed them was TV and internet and movies and entertainment and pleasure. And then you're shocked that they grow up to be pleasure-seeking people. You can't have the ingredients of Western civilization, which are God and family. You can't take the ingredients away and then wonder why you can't get the same result. So when they crap on these kids for the stupid stuff they're doing, and it's stupid, dude. I remember going to Carl's Jr. like 3 years ago with my wife. I wrote this in the tweet. Oh, that was the last time I ate at Carl's Jr. I drove through when they started gouging everyone, all the fast food. I drove to the Carl's Jr., got a burger, like onion rings and a drink, like 2 combos. It was $30.
Baller.
$30 for 2 combos. And I looked at my wife, like we paid because I didn't suspect it was going to be 30. I thought it'd be like $21 or something.
Yeah.
And I've never been back since. I've been back and like bought like one order of zucchini or something once or twice. But I won't go back. And every time I drive by that Carl's Jr., I look at my wife like, can you believe it's $30 for 2 combos? I go to McDonald's, but I only use the app and get like the $2 two for $5 McDoubles. That's the only thing I'll buy from them. Or they'll have a combo meal for $5 or $6. You can buy a Big Mac meal for $15? What are you doing? Do you buy the expensive fast food? I don't do it, man. I think it's crazy.
No, and my wife and I, we had the mirror, our experience mirrored yours, except 10 or 12 hours north. I can't remember, it was late. We were going home. We didn't feel like cooking, and we haven't been out to fast food in years. So if you are out and about and you're not near a Chick-fil-A or something like that, the creme de la creme of fast food is Carl's Jr. Duh, the double Western bacon cheeseburger. Give me one of those and then throw the switch. I'm ready. So my wife and I were like, Carl's Jr. We could hit the drive-thru. She orders a little chicken, bacon, whatever I ordered.
Yeah.
Double Western bacon cheeseburger, like a man, the meal. We both got the meal, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the same thing. Maybe not the exact amount, but I'm thinking, yeah, $20. All right, inflation. It's been years, since we were kids, going to McDonald's. I remember working at McDonald's. It was 29-cent hamburgers on Wednesday, 39-cent cheeseburgers on Sunday.
You guys want to know why me and Jericho used to be fat asses? You want to know why? Because you could get a Big Mac for 99 cents on Monday when I was in high school.
You could get a Whopper for 99 cents. I remember the commercial. So
tell the truth. In your fattest, most pathetic fat boy days, how many burgers did you eat in one sitting? Like your most shameful. I think I've had 3 Big Macs once when I was at my lowest, eating shit all the time.
At a fast food joint is probably when I worked there in high school. I wasn't a fat kid yet, but we would make. I was ramping up to it. We would take the quarter pounder patties and make Big Macs with them. So the Big Mac box wouldn't even close because the burger was so big. And so I would have like one of those, a 20-piece nugget and fries with a drink. But that's as a teenager. So, you got hollow legs. That shit's burned off before you even stand up to go back to work. But I would say in my fat days, man, I would go. That's why it's easier to stay on the path and not eat. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier. Because when I was in the fat days, I went hard in the fucking paint, you guys. I didn't waste any fucking time. I didn't leave anything out on the fucking field.
Were you like Shaq in his prime? You were just dunking on yourself with nuggets and donuts and
Gabe, I would fuck shit up. It was not a game. I would fuck shit up. So
you think this is a game? This is my life.
Dude, this is who I am. So I am.
I got to interrupt. In the chat, we've got 167. Thank you so much. We're being rated from side scrollers. That's our good friend Stuttering Craig. I remember you went on his show, and that episode got demonetized because you made some comments about a lady who was anti. She was a very woke gaming kind of lady.
Yeah, she liked softball, and she liked to throw her softball equipment into the back of her Subaru Forester.
Yeah, guys, I use StreamYard to stream to all the socials, and it doesn't let me pop your chat on the screen from Rumble. Right. But I drugged the Rumble over onto this other screen here. So thank you for coming in. Jimmy Nature says, I remember in the 90s, a full meal at Taco Bell was just under $5. True Cadaver says, side scrollers is rating your attic. Dan Grossig says, Blab told to say boobs. You or me? I'll say it, I guess. Boobs. Who doesn't love
tits?
I gotta say, that's one of the great things. Boobs. I know,
tits.
Obvious. Everyone already knows this, but it is. It is just one of the great, most comforting things in the world. And that's all I have to say about that.
I'd say about that.
I'm thinking a lot of things about it that I'm not going to say about it.
So, speaking of Taco Bell,
because I want to try to eventually upload this to YouTube and not get banned.
Yeah, we might have to throw some edits in here and there. Speaking of Taco Bell, when I worked at McDonald's in high school, you had to be a manager and employee to go make the cash deposit. So they had the vault that was like in the wall next door to the bank. So you put your deposit in there, close it, and you always open it to double check to make sure it slid down in there. So we walk over to the deposit, we open it, and there was a Taco Bell across from us in the strip mall. There was their cash deposit, and the amount on the bag was written was $14,000. And it was sitting right there. And this was in the late 90s or like 96, 97.
You could have got $14,000 Big Macs.
Yeah, I would have blown $7,000 at work at McDonald's.
I like that when there's something as big, whoever's talking about it says it's enough to fill 5 Olympic swimming pools. Why is an Olympic swimming pool a unit of measurement?
Because it's fucking huge.
When would that ever apply in life? Like, it's about 7 Olympic pools. When would that be a practical measurement in life?
But it lends credibility because it's Olympic. So you're not going to question it. It's been stamped with some kind of seal, the Olympic rings. So it's Olympic pool. All right, I believe it. If you said like standard swimming pool at a house, fuck that. But Olympic, I believe it.
It's enough to fill up 5 above ground redneck pools.
All right, that's a better unit of measure. I understand that.
Or the back of 15 Subaru Brats.
Now that I understand better. But man, I'd say I remember working at Sherwin-Williams in my early 20s, and there was a Costco across the way. Anybody from Seaside, the Sand City Costco. And I think I would do sometimes, not all the time, but like 2 hot dogs and a slice of pizza and a soda for lunch. And I was like, you're ready to fucking lay down somewhere in the sun like a dog after you eat something like that. But it was back to work. But yeah, man, those are the days. That's why I'm not really tripping. I did it all. I fucking did it all. Wherever I went, I maxed it out. Maxed it the fuck out.
Well, moving on from being absolute pigs and abandoning millennials and Gen X so they just waste money on DoorDash. I feel very sorry for them. It's insane spending that money. I feel really sorry for them. Right before we hit showtime, we found out Quintana Brunson will star as Betty Boop in a new film. Betty Boop is back, and she just got sassy. Can you quickly tell me the plot of this movie, Jericho? Because I think you already know the plot of this movie.
If it takes place when Betty Boop was prominent, of course she's still around. She's a known figure, but back, what was she, 20s? Maybe?
She's old.
Yeah, like we're 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe. Like Betty Boop, she goes back when we used to put our enemies in our entertainment cartoons. But for sure, and keep in mind, Betty Boop is, a sex symbol, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
She was definitely, she get that Tex Avery Wolf treatment,
Oh, yeah, little red. Coming in hot.
But that's all she was. That's all Betty Boop was just a little sex symbol. She'd come out and do a little number, and then she'd go away. That was it. Betty Boop didn't have much to say. She didn't have any political or social opinions. She wasn't out there for the ladies, giving these men these toxic masculinity or what for. Betty Boop was just out there to shake her boop. Betty was out there to shake the boop and be gone. But with this sister girl right here, oh no. There's going to be some white guy who's going to say something to her.
Wait. Wait. Will there be a white businessman who's trying to hold her down and then she becomes empowered and her other girlfriends stand up and humiliate this white devil? Is that what will happen?
What did George Zimmerman say from the Men's Warehouse? You're gonna like your suit, I guarantee it. So I guarantee, or you're gonna like the way you look, I guarantee it. I guarantee that they are going to shoehorn. They're going to treat it like your suitcase when you're packing to go back home from vacation. When you're going to vacation, everything's folded neatly, everything's accounted for in its little slot, in its little container. You're even using that little mesh thing inside the suitcase to hold all the toiletries. You're doing it right. You're excited. You're happy.
When you go on vacation, you roll your socks, you fold your undies.
It's all perfect. You're thinking about when we get to the airport, this might be a little heavy on you. Let me put my shoes in your bag. Everything's beautiful. When you're headed back home, fuck. And you're jamming everything in there, and you're literally having your kids come in the room and sit on it so you can zip it shut. So I guarantee you they're going to stuff, they're going to force, they're going to jam some kind of moment for her to show Whitey that you can't do this. Some bullshit. Wait. And I guarantee you, Gabe, I guarantee you this. This is how the movie's going to start. She's going to start in a rush, trying to feed her kid and get him, drop him off to school. She's going to be a little, sorry, Mr. So-and-so, I had to drop off little Jamal, blah, blah, blah. The dad's a piece of shit. I told you not to marry or told you not to mess with him, girl. And she's just going to be this downtrodden little hottie just trying to make it work. And the only thing she's got going for her are those buns and those fucking tits.
Chewy Cadaver brings up a good point. He says, didn't he shoot Trayvon Martin? I think you said George Zimmerman.
Oh, Zimmer. Was it George Zimmerman?
I don't know. Now you got me confused on who owns the Men's Warehouse.
I think it was George Zimmerman.
It would be crazy if George Zimmerman owned the Men's Warehouse.
Maybe he does. Maybe there's a connection.
He'll start selling hoodies or something like that.
You know what the fuck I meant. George Zimmer. I guarantee it.
I guarantee it. He got that thing, like, went corporate, and then the board of directors like voted him out of his own company that he founded. That's terrible.
Fucked up. He was the company. Other than him, what the hell do you remember about Men's Warehouse?
No, nothing. I've got more than one suit there. A year ago, I went to Santa Monica to see Matthew Marsden, our good friend, the handsome British heartthrob actor. I went to see his movie premiere in Santa Monica, and I bought a new suit here in San Diego at the Men's Fashion Depot, and I got it fitted. I got it, tailored and trimmed, and I got to Santa Monica, had lunch, hung out with my wife, did all this stuff, get to our hotel near the theater because we're going to spend the night because, the movie's going to go late. We don't want to drive home. And we opened the suitcases and everything, and my suit was in San Diego, and it was about an hour until the red carpet and the movie premiere. And I had no suit. I had shorts and a t-shirt. I cannot go to my friend's movie in that outfit. I start praying, jump in the car and call the Men's Warehouse. It turns out a mile down the road from where this movie premiere was a Men's Warehouse, 1 mile from the hotel. It was the same side of the road too. So I didn't have to make a left in Los Angeles, which is insane. And I call the kid on the phone while I'm driving. Like, I'm 6'4", 260 pounds, 7-foot wingspan, blah, blah. I need Calvin Klein suit off the rack, tailored cuffs on the pant, everything. He got me out the door. It was a $600 mistake though. $600. It was a beautiful black suit. I've worn it about 3 times.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can get some more use out of it. That's good.
Adam Egret, he's from our YouTube days. That's our great None the Miser on YouTube. He says, that was at Dean Cain's movie premiere last year. The Matthew Marsden one, the Calvin Klein suit, that was 2 years ago. Sorry. It was in June of 2 years ago. And I went to a premiere for Dean Cain's movie a year ago, Little Angels, and I forgot my belt. And I wandered all over and had to drive to a Nordstrom to buy it. What is with me going to movie premieres for getting clothes? It's weird. Oh, I got to tell you. My buddy's wedding anniversary is like any day now. It's right now. Merlin, my friend, you know him. It's like his 13th wedding anniversary. And we got a little spicy that night, maybe drank a little bit. I don't drink. I haven't had a drink in 9 years. But we did. And woke up the next day, and one of the groomsmen who was with us left his pants He left them at home. We're getting married. The marriage here is the ceremony's in San Diego. And unfortunately, Rocky's pants were left at his house, which is not in San Diego, and it's in Hawaii.
Whoops.
And it was Sunday morning, and there's nothing. There was one store, and the wedding was early. It was like 10 or 11 at the church because of their religion. They do it pretty early. So we had to hunt down a pair of pants at like 10 in the morning. Good thing we're at the hotel we stayed at the night before was across the street from a major mall there in San Diego. But it was something. He also burned my shirt that night. I was trying to iron my shirt, and he's like, I know how to iron shirts. And people had been drinking. And he left the iron on my dress shirt and burned a big black iron shape in the back. Now, thankfully, my wife brought me another shirt like at midnight. She dropped it off at the hotel. But and the really funny thing, the groom, my best friend who was getting married, his little brother was a little hungover the next morning. He was sitting on the curb in the parking lot of the church, and he had vomited a few times. And an older guy who was in his 50s walked by, looked at him, gave him a knowing look, and just laughed and walked in like, I've been there 20 years.
Yeah, man.
So,
he's been him. That's why he did it. He saw himself in him right there.
Right.
I know exactly what you're feeling, buddy.
Hey guys, if you're watching, thank you all for coming in. The side scroller fans, the people from YouTube, everyone, hit the like, hit the share, and hit subscribe. What you're going to hear here from Jericho and I is the unvarnished truth about modern life, being fathers, culture, pop culture stuff, all that stuff, and we don't hold back.
Nope.
So if you want to hear it, if you want to participate, if you want to jump in the chat, please do. But we need you to sub. This is a brand new channel, basically, and we'll be uploading these to YouTube. And I think this is also live on Facebook and X. But we want to grow it here on Rumble. I like their ways here with the free speech. It's important to me and Jericho. So please subscribe right now. Cost you nothing. You have a great time hanging out with us on Wednesday mornings. So yeah, that was our wedding adventures.
I've seen no, it was two different weddings, but in the same church. There's this big church in Salinas where I used to live, so that was kind of the place where people would hold their big weddings. And the first one I went to was my buddy Ever. His wife to be standing at the back of the church. The doors open outward from the sanctuary to the outside.
Sure.
So her dad was standing in the wrong spot. She was in the right spot. So the people inside couldn't see the people on the other side. So they swing the door open. You just hear, boom. And I swear, Ever and I were the only ones who actually saw it. I don't know how, because we both looked at each other. And everybody else was kind of turned around like, what was that? But we actually saw it happen. But the door hit her dad 12 o'clock right here.
No, that big old corner of the door, or like the face of the door, or like the edge?
No, the edge of the door.
Oh.
Like a big 10-foot cathedral, big ass door.
Solid wooden door. Who opened it?
Dude, somebody on the inside.
Shoulder?
Like no, two kids, the two ushers on the other side were opening the door because it was dun 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 and all that. And he was standing in the wrong spot and caught that door. Bam!
Tell me his nose didn't touch blood, dude.
No, his forehead took more than the bridge of his nose.
Okay.
So it scrambled his eggs a little bit. You could see her like kind of hold him up a little bit. He was all right. Like any great dad, he soldiered on and walked his girl down the aisle. Probably doesn't remember it, but he got clobbered by that door. Oh. And then I don't know, a few years later, whatever, after that, somebody was standing up on stage. It was the bride's younger brother. And he locked his legs. He made the fatal mistake. Locked his legs, and then went down right there on stage in front of the church.
I learned about that. Locking the legs, fainting. I learned about that in kindergarten or first grade. There was like a patriotic something at school, and someone in the auditorium, some kid was the Statue of Liberty in the green cloak and a little bit of makeup, holding up the torch. And after like 10 minutes in this thing, they just fell on stage. Like, ooh! And then like a teacher explained it to us later. So I remember that. There was some wild shit at my buddy's wedding, though, besides forgetting the pants, besides burning my shirt. The little brother throwing up, and a little brother, he was like, 25, throwing up in the parking lot at the church before the wedding. He was sick, and he kept going to the bathroom, throwing up and throwing up. And I was like, and then we were the groomsmen, the five of us, including the brother, including the guy who forgot the pants. Like, we were a mess. We looked fine. But the little brother, I could just see him there. He was just like,
oh, man, yeah. Oh, man.
You knew he was going to just vomit.
All
And
bad.
in my mind, I'm looking around, and the bride is beautiful. My friend's in a gorgeous suit. Everyone looks perfect. This is their church too, so it's all their pastor, all the religious people. This is very solemn, very sacred ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at this like, how do I get out of this building if the brother throws up? What is the fastest way out? Because I'm
Don't leave him. Drag him with you.
and drinking last night with this guy. So the finger of blame goes on all of us.
Oh man,
guys, look what they did. Nah, she threw up on the bride. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, okay, there's the door.
Oh, you better puke on the floor.
If
he pukes on the bride,
I shoulder roll out the door like a Steven Seagal 90s flick. You know what I mean?
Dude, if he pukes on the bride, though, oh no, man. No. Yeah, I think I've had 2 hangovers in life, and they're crippling. And I've always wondered, like, could the CIA put that feeling in like a pill form and like get some terrorists and be like, look, if you don't tell us what we want to know, we're going to make you swallow this hangover pill, and it's going to be a house of fucking horrors for 12 hours. And if they could really, reproduce the feeling of a hangover for like a good 12, 14 hours, maybe 24 if they really want to get some shit out of you. But could you imagine somebody like, holding you down, making you swallow, knowing what's coming?
Well, here's what they do first, though. They feed you a bunch of gross food first, like oysters and eggs, salad, and things you don't want to throw up anything.
Yogurt, lemonade. Yeah,
the worst things to something really spicy or acidic, so it really burns coming up. They feed you all of that. Then they give you the hangover pill. And then they just wave like, something stinky under your nose. So it's just a plate of oysters or just something.
Oh no, they take you out on a boat when you can see white caps. And you're just and they bring you back on shore. You ready to talk? Yeah, they just like foie gras goose, some food down your gullet. And they just take you out on a semi-rough day on the ocean. Man, you'll be turning green. You'll be yakking up all that shit.
Not good. Chewy Cadaver says, I've had many sketchy moments in Salinas. I love Salinas. I've been there the first time about a year and a half ago. Used to stay in Salinas when my daughter was going to UC Davis. I went to the who's the great writer?
Steinbeck, John Steinbeck.
Yeah, that was great to go to the Steinbeck Museum. It was one of the first writers I really got into his work with the Black Pearl and the Red Pony and things like that. And then Adam Egret, which is None the Miser on YouTube, he only had one hangover. It was from 1997 to 2015.
Dude, that was a rough stretch, man. Damn.
That's impressive.
Damn. How are you still alive?
Yeah.
A hangover is so fucking terrible. If somebody threatened me with that, as long as it like didn't endanger my family, I'd probably tell them what they want to know.
That's one of the great things about not drinking is I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, I'm good. I should never have another hangover again. The few times I do drink, it's usually on somebody else's dime because they're like, "Hey, you want to drink? Come on. All right, I'll take a beer. I'll nurse it for a couple hours." But no, man, not even a 6-pack a year.
We talked about the abandonment of the millennials and the Gen Z and how they make stupid financial choices. I feel very sorry for many of them. Just wasting money, going to brunch, buying the lunch every day. Then they get yelled at by the people who taught them to be this way. It's maddening to me. And no offer of help, by the way. No offer of help. They're like, well, in the 70s, we only got paid $2 an hour. It's like, motherfucker, do you know how inflation works? Your $2 went further, idiot. Why do we have to keep re-explaining that? Anyway, I don't even want to talk about that. What I wanted to ask you about, and you can come back to Sassy Betty Boop if you want, but what I really want to talk to you about is Sassy Karen Bassey, the mayor of Los Angeles, and Spencer Pratt on the come up. He's killing her in the social media game. All those memes, all those AI videos, they are so funny, so good. He's just an independent. He's just talking common sense. And can he win? Because I hate to blackpill, but I don't think so. I think the machine here is allegedly too corrupt. I think that if it were a fair election, he'd win. And I don't think it's a fair election. I'm not alleging any crime, California state government. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's not fair for reasons that I will keep in my own mind. It's alleging. But I hate it because as a Californian, this is the best place on earth. I'm sorry. I don't care where you live. I don't care where you're from. California's better. It's beautiful. from stem to stern, from the bottom of its feet to the crown of its head. California is the most beautiful place on earth. If you have something where you live that's beautiful, we already have it. Mountains, desert, ocean, cities, food, history, historical landmarks, anything you want, we have it here. And it's amazing. And this place is run by fucking idiot Marxist communists, and they ruin almost everything. We got to save this place. It's worth saving. Can this guy win? He should win. He should win easily. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, he's stomping her out on the social media front real bad. And Karen Bass also wants to give free teeth to the homeless.
Well, if they smoke all that meth and their teeth evaporate.
She said you can't get ahead. You can't get ahead in life if you don't have
Jericho, teeth. I don't think you would propose something so stupid as to get them to quit taking meth. Use our tax dollars to help them get off meth. Why don't we use our tax dollars just to give them teeth? That seems like the smarter thing than getting them off hardcore drugs that will shorten their life.
No. I think that anybody who is living on the streets of LA as a homeless person, getting ahead in life is not your goal. Because what they want you to think is that 99.9% of the people out on the streets, whether it be LA or anybody else, but in this case, LA, they're out there because, they just fell on hard times, and we're all a paycheck away from being on the streets. And the homeless people, they're just on hard times. And if they could just get a house, if you could just give them some teeth, if you could just give them something, just a hand up, they'll rejoin society and be totally fine. That's why these people are on the streets. It's not, they don't want you to know that it's what we already know. It's the drugs. In Salinas, where I used to live, there is a place they spent $6 million to build a homeless shelter facility. But the number one rule to get in there was you can't be on dope. So those beds laid empty, collecting dust because nobody wanted to get off of dope to get help. That's why most people are on the streets, because there's no responsibility. There's no rules, really, unless you run into the cops. It's a very lawless existence, dangerous, but lawless, no responsibility. You could even get on the fucking state dime, where they give you EBT cash, like an ATM card, where you can go get cash out and spend it on whatever you want. I've seen homeless people with laptops, with cell phones, with encampments, entire communities on the side of the street. But you better not set up a lemonade stand on that same street, or the cops will be there to kick it over and make your kid cry.
But dude,
that's bullshit.
Because you and I, we've gone on endlessly and endlessly. I'm in San Diego. You're in Northern California. We love this state. This is my home, man. I'm not from here, but I've spent most of my life here. I came here when I was a little boy in third grade. I left briefly to go to college back where I'm from in Colorado. I'm a San Diegan. I am not. I mean, look it. I'm wearing a Padre shirt. I'm not a Colorado Rocky fan. I'm a Padre fan. I go to the beach. I go to Mexico to get tacos. I love my city. It's so amazing here. How do we get rid of these insane communists? Because it just seems like voting doesn't work. We vote.
I don't know that we can
vote. But what do? We got to change people's hearts and minds and say, like, hey, aren't you tired of the problems the people you're voting for are causing? They're causing these problems.
But they don't suffer under these problems. They don't live with these policies. That's why, unfortunately,
I paid over $6 a gallon for gas last week, dude. It was 130 something to fill my truck up.
Yeah, but you're talking. But the people who are pushing this machine along make tons of money. They're millionaires. Look at the lady who's in charge of homelessness in Los Angeles. She makes over $400,000 a year. The lady who was in charge, who was supposed to keep the water in the reservoirs before LA fucking burnt down, she makes $700,000 a year. The chief of police makes $250,000 a year. There's no incentive to fucking stop.
Yeah, if they do a bad job, they don't lose their money or their job. If I do a bad job as Big Man Comics publisher, I can go out of business. So I have to do a good job, and I want to do a good job. I knew a lady, not a millionaire, like 100 millionaire. She lives in Rancho Santa Fe. That is estates. Russell Wilson has a place there. I believe like Janet Jackson. Like these are multi-acre homes in the country near the ocean in San Diego. You can't really get there. There's no like direct freeways in. This is exclusive. And I knew this lady and she was a Georgetown University lawyer. She came from old money on the East Coast, and these are 100-millionaire kind of people. And she didn't work because she didn't have to. And she told me what she did is she volunteered as an attorney to help illegals settle here in America. There's a white blonde woman with hundreds of millions of dollars, and her idea of how she could make the world better was to bring in tons of people who are here illegally and don't belong here and strain the system. Mm-hmm. That's what she did. And I'm like, but they're not going to be in Rancho Santa Fe where you live.
Nope.
They're not going to be at the private school that you send your son to.
Nope.
You're never going to run into them on the trolley or the bus because that's for peasants to ride. Like, it's maddening. So like what you said about the police chief and all these people, they don't suffer the consequences of their virtue signaling decisions. So again, what is the solution, dude?
Well, Gabe, if you made $50,000 a month, would $6, $7, $8 a gallon gas bother you? $10 eggs, everything going up 30, 40%, you wouldn't even feel that. So they don't give a shit. They don't live with the consequences of their policies. And I wish Spencer Pratt would win because that's instant change. That's instant change. And this is the guy you want. This is the guy you have to drag kicking and screaming into the mayor's office is who you want to be mayor. Like I said last time, you got the guy, hey, we need a dad to chaperone the boys for a weekend, 3-day camping trip. Oh, fuck, I don't want to go to that. You're the one. You don't want the dad who's like, dude, I got the truck packed. I've been waiting for this. Ooh, you boys can ride with me. You can stay in my tent. No, get the fuck out of here. Put that guy on a watch list. Don't let him out of our sight. But the guy who's like, somebody's got to do it. Damn it. All right, I guess I'll do it. Okay. That's the guy you want. That's who Spencer Pratt is. And could you imagine if he got in there, the battles he would have with the LA City Council?
They'd attack him nonstop. They'd whatever the equivalent is, or if it exists, to impeach the mayor and blah, blah, blah. It would be like Trump 2.0 for LA. There's something amazing in the comments, and I agree 1,000%, especially as someone who's worked for Warner Brothers and Disney's. Chewy Cadaver, great comments today, friend. He says, I'm a native Californian born and raised. I have lived the change. It's all the out-of-state libs moving here who ruined the state. Yep. And I agree with this. And let me expand on how this applies to entertainment. He says, I'd rather deport people back to their states than deport illegal Mexicans. Okay, Chewy Cadaver, I was thinking about that this morning when I was making my coffee. Entertainment, Disney, Warner Brothers, I worked on all of it. You name it, I've done it professionally. There's a popcorn bucket at Disneyland you can get with my art on it, okay? Star Wars, Superman, Batman, Jericho knows. People who know me know I work for these companies forever. And the people that come to California and ruin it are not from here. See, all you people who aren't from California, California, a bunch of crazy hippie liberal communists. No. The people that come here and go to LA and want to make all the filth on Netflix and Disney and all those channels about how much they hate God, hate fathers, hate family, hate America, hate heterosexuality, those people are from Missouri, from Iowa. They're not from here. And they grew up as a little fucking entitled brat where they're from, middle America, and they hate their dad, they hate Christianity, they hate this country because they're just entitled pieces of shit, and they come out here to write their weirdo feeder kid fan fiction. That's what goes on. Go to LA and talk to the actors and all that. Find out they're not from here. When you find out, oh yeah, I was born in the Valley. That is so rare. You have like a Bryan Cranston who was born in the Valley. You have they're not from here. The writer, they all come from somewhere else where they come from real America and they hate America. And they come out here to make movies and shows and talk about how much they hate America. So don't be blaming Californians. So yes, 1,000% deport these leftist people back to Missouri. Back. You have to go back. Send them back.
You have tons and tons of celebrities. If you could think of one, they're probably not from California.
Right.
So, and they don't see California as their home. California is a place they came to make it big, to get rich. It's not where they're from. It's not where they were born and raised and lived most of their lives and experienced life here. And I believe that it is different from other states. I grew up here. I was born in Jackson, Mississippi, but my parents moved out here when I was 4 months old. So I think I'm a Californian. I've seen pristine turquoise waters in California. Yeah. I've come back into California driving from a cross-country road trip into Shasta Lake and just looked down on the most beautiful blue water, green trees, redwoods. I've seen deserts that would if someone blindfolded you and dropped you there, you'd think you were in the Sahara. I've seen beautiful beaches with dolphins in the fucking waves. When I worked in Monterey, on my lunch break, I would park by the beach and just look out over these multi-million-dollar homes, seals, hear seals barking in the distance, see dolphins in the fucking waves. I've been to snowy mountains. It has everything, and it is beautiful, but it's like the most futuristic, advanced, pristine facility, and then you just release a group of retards to run it who are just yelling and screaming and smearing shit everywhere. And you're like, wait. We have this beautiful thing, and you're just in here like a bull in a china shop, fucking it all up. Because again, and call me sexist if you will, I will gladly don that cap today. It's because she's a fucking lady. All right, it's her and that what's her name, Ramen, Nathia Ramen, whatever her fucking name is, the one that Spencer Pratt was debating along with Karen Bass. See, they look at these homeless people, they look at these problems with their feelings. Oh, those poor guys. It's why no. Don't punish him for punching that woman in her face and breaking her nose and shattering her orbital bone. Don't punish him for that. Ask, why did he do that? What happened to him? Yeah, don't punish him.
Who hurt him? Who was the
racist? Don't punish him. Nurture him. Let him run to you. Like mom, when you run to mom, she scoops you. Oh, poor baby. She's patting you. She's loving you. It's going to be okay. We don't need that shit, okay? We're on the highway of life. You need to be prepared to keep up with the flow of traffic. We do not have time to keep pulling over to take care of your issues. So at some point, we need to move on to the punishment phase of things. Right. I heard Adam Carolla, and I saw the story, but I've heard him talk about it also, where there's this spot in LA somewhere where gay dudes go to blow and fuck each other. And there's a sign there that says no U-turn. So it makes it impossible, makes it illegal for them to go down there. Because obviously you'd have to U-turn to get out of here. So no U-turns, because we don't want you down here blowing and fucking each other where we live. This is a neighborhood. And so the mayor, the city council of that little town, or maybe it's in Los Angeles, I think it's in Los Angeles, fucking had them take the sign down. And they had somebody out there to cut the ribbon, and the little gay guys were out there, oh my God, thank you. No, don't. Their feelings and their wants are important here. What about the tax-paying residents who live here, and this is their home, this is their sanctuary, and they don't want to take their garbage out and hear some guy getting it in his stinker or blowing some other dude? How is this a thing? How is this even a thing?
It blows me away, no pun intended, these pride parades where they are like committing sexual acts on the street and the cops are not hitting them with pepper spray and arresting them. Like, guys, that is illegal.
That's live. It's just a live action porno. That's all it is.
Do that. Like, you can't. You can go in your shitty apartment and do it with your weirdo.
Dude, friends. Bang your brains out. Dude, I've seen a video of a guy walking inches from a child, fully naked, fully nude, in June at some pride event. When else is that okay for a man to walk inches from a child nude?
How about never?
I missed something. I must have ripped Van Winkle and then woke up and all of this shit was okay. But how 100 years ago, 1926, do you think there would have been a spot for dudes to go blow and fuck each other in a neighborhood without the men in that neighborhood going down there with baseball bats and chains? And get the fuck out of here with that shit. Go somewhere else. This is a neighborhood. What about family?
I was telling you I went to the Matthew Marston's movie premiere 2 years ago in Santa Monica. And there's a place called the Santa Monica Promenade. It's like 3 blocks from the ocean, okay? It's a street that runs right there. I don't remember, but it's shops on both sides and a walkway, beautiful sculpture, all this stuff. And it was filled with clothing, food, restaurants. Go there now. It's a ghost town. Most of it's out of business with realtor ads in the window saying, for rent. And it's because of the homelessness and the crime that's out of control. This is Santa Monica. For those of you who don't know, Santa Monica is kind of an expensive place to live. It's supposed to be a really nice place.
Yep.
And you go to these downtowns all across America where liberals rule it, and the businesses, they're just all shuttered up because it's out of control, homelessness and violence and all this stuff, drugs, violence, all this stuff going on. And, I'd been to the Santa Monica Promenade for Father's Day like 15 years ago. We drove up there and it was awesome. And it was packed with people and every store was open and every restaurant was busy. And it was an amazing Sunday. And when I went there 2 years ago, I hadn't been there in a decade and it was a ghost town. I went to a Starbucks to get a coffee while my wife was getting her makeup done. And there were no tables or seats inside. They got rid of them all because the homeless would just go in there and sit on it. So you had to like get your coffee and then like stand there and drink it. I had to go sit on the edge of a fountain and say, I don't know, 70, 80% of the stores were closed in this promenade that used to be thriving, and the leftists, like that lady attorney I told you who makes it her mission in life to bring illegals here. They have these policies. They don't really care. And the policy is all about their vanity and ego. Well, I'm the hero that wants to help the poor. And I don't want to be mean to the crazy homeless. And I want to do that. It's like, why don't you want to do the right thing? Isn't that being moral? And sometimes the right thing is, believe it or not, unpleasant.
Yes.
So
sometimes you got to get your hands dirty. Sometimes, just like the saying goes, in order to make an omelet, you got to kick somebody's ass. Right? I think that's how the saying is finished.
Yeah.
But imagine how little of a homeless problem we would have, no matter what, not just in California or just in Los Angeles, if business owners were allowed to take care of the problem themselves, short of killing one of them. Like, what if you were allowed to go out there? Look, man, if you're here tomorrow morning when I open my business and you shit here, me and my son are going to kick your fucking ass. Why isn't that allowed? Get the fuck out of here. Because if you make it unpleasant for them, they're going to move along. If you're not allowed to loiter in front of my business and hang out and beg for money or sleep off your fucking heroin or fentanyl high, you're going to go. It's human nature. You're going to take a path of least resistance. And if word spreads that strip mall down there is full of ass-kicking business owners who aren't taking any shit, they're not going to be there. Business can stay open. People can continue. I remember this. The guy spraying her with a water hose. Why are you spraying it with a hose? It's so cold. Fuck that lady. Why are you camping out in front of my business, fucking things up for me? Now, a woman's going to look at that. Oh, my God, poor thing. She's freezing. You're waterboarding her, blah, 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 blah. A man's going to look at that and be like, I wonder how many times he came out there nicely, because you can tell as he stops and explains to her, get the fuck out of here. I've told you 100 times. They probably give this woman clothes. They probably gave her some food. They probably offered, hey, I talked to somebody down here. You can go to this shelter. They probably tried to help this lady out way more times than they should have, but she wants to be an entitled fucking asshole who has the backing of the city, I'm sure, to entitle her to think she can fucking sit there. No, spray that bitch until she's waterlogged. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and you can imagine. Do you think that they're just going to sit there? You don't think anything gets stolen, anything gets broken? There's heroin needles left on the ground that kids or whatever dogs can step on.
Piss.
Yeah, just shit. I remember my daughter lived in Hollywood for a year when she was 19, I believe. She's a stand-up comic. She's killing it down here in San Diego. She's the head of the roast battle for the Comedy Store. That's the world-famous Comedy Store. She's a great stand-up. But she lived in Hollywood for a year, catty corner from the CNN building. I'd always flip it off when I'd go up there to visit her. And she lived on Sunset and Wilcox. She could never park near her apartment almost because there would be homeless tents just covering the sidewalks. And then, dude, I don't know how much some of these people who shit in the street are eating, but it's a lot apparently. Because you have to walk from her car to her apartment, and there'd be a pile of shit. Like, that's a lot of shit. Like
maybe they were eating shit.
Like,
maybe
how much did you eat, bro? And it's everywhere. Like, LA should be a world-class city. It doesn't have weather like San Diego, but it's 80% as good. It's a little hotter, but San Diego's perfect. The weather, it's always perfect.
That's more inland.
But LA, it should be a wonderland. It should be a world-class city. It should be unbelievably beautiful and successful. And instead, it's one of the filthiest, most dangerous, pathetic cities ever.
And expensive.
Necessarily, it's directly because of the leadership there. It's not the people. It's the way they're being led. It's a disgrace what LA is. And it's made so much worse by what I know what it could be. My friend Chris Gore from Film Threat, he talks about moving from Detroit to LA back in the 80s and what it was. Ask anyone that was in LA in the 80s and even into the 90s. It was awesome. There was a vibe. There was a nightlife. You could, there's crime and danger in every big city, but it wasn't overrun like it is now. I'm telling you, people, I don't I don't really go to LA. I don't want to. There's so many neat things up there, but you just know you're going to go up there. There's going to be dangerous shit. There's going to be shit everywhere. You think we're kidding about the shit? We're not kidding about it. There's shit everywhere. That's pathetic. That's just totally pathetic.
I live about 25 minutes from Sacramento, from downtown Sacramento, state capital Sacramento. And I've been down there walking around the capital, the state capital, the crown jewel of California, AKA the 5th largest economy in the world, right? Isn't that what Newsom always fucking says? 5th largest economy in the world. Well, I think we're number 4 now. So many homeless people on the sidewalk that if you were walking that part of the sidewalk, you'd have to step into the roadway to get around homeless people who are fucking snoring on the sidewalks. You have to step into a dangerous roadway to get around homeless people who are sleeping on a sidewalk. It's not called a side sleep or a side camp. It's called a sidewalk. And the reason they put it there is so you don't have to step into the roadway. Anyway, so homeless people rampant downtown outside of the Capitol building, fucking rats everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's a rat scurrying from a trash can to a tree to avoid being picked up by a falcon or a hawk. It was fucking disgusting. Think
that LA is dirty. The rats are like, man, this place has got the shit.
Yeah. I saw a rat family and the mom grabbed the kids and was like, ew. And they fucking ran away somewhere. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And it's sad. It's ridiculous. It's filthy. It's dangerous. But it's even worse because you look at the price tag that's put on it. Gas at a premium. Real estate at a premium. Houses, renting, food. Everything's at a premium, but you're giving me bullshit. I'm paying top dollar. I'm paying white napkin prices, but I'm getting grease-spotted paper bag fucking lunch. That's what I'm getting. Now, if you want to put the pay on par with what we're getting, if you want to slash my expenses by about 75, 80% based on all the feces and poor education and homeless and dilapidated buildings, poor infrastructure, crime, if you want to slash my expenses, you want to slash my gas and my grocery and my rent and my mortgage by 80%, damn it, I'll be out there fighting those bums. I'll be stepping over human shit. I'll educate my own kids if I have to. If you want to do that, then hey, fuck this city up because I'll be paying pennies on the dollar. Right. But as you're charging me, people, when you look and when you're out of state, when you're not in California and you look at the national average for gas prices, you see $4 or $4+, high threes. You're like, oh my goodness, somebody has to be standing behind you to catch you because you just fainted from those numbers.
It was over 6 when I filled my truck last week. So guess what? In the last week, I've driven my Camry like 3 times because it gets 30 miles a gallon.
Yeah, and if we had $4, $3.89, $3.75 a gallon for gas, you would see people fucking partying at the gas station. The gas station would have to bring out food trucks and DJs because it would be a fucking party at every Rotten Robbie, Chevron, Shell, the mom and pop ones. I don't give Circle K. I don't give a shit where it was. People would be dancing in the streets. It would be like the 12th of September 2001. How you just look at your fellow citizens and you nod like, yeah, fuck these dudes. We were all together, all united. Everybody was saying hello, holding doors, being kind to their countrymen. It would be like that if we were paying the national average for gas prices in California. And you know why we pay so much fucking gas? I'm trying to explain this to my kids the other day. Damn it, taxes. That's why.
Yeah, it's almost over $1 or something is taxes on our gallon, right?
Yeah, just straight fucking taxes. And it's going to get worse because all the refineries are shutting down. Why? Because Gavin Newsom is an incompetent dickhead who one of his eyes isn't even on California. It's on D.C.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I saw, now it's Twitter. You don't know if it's true, but a guy who claimed to be an expert on this. The last tanker full of Middle Eastern oil for California refineries came in last week. And because of all the stuff going on there, we're not going to get any more oil from the Middle East for months. And California has enough oil for itself and others. There's tons of oil out here. But because of all the left-wing environmental bullshit, only 25% of the oil that we make is from the ground here. They won't pull it out of the ground here at any rate that would make a difference. So we're standing on top of it. And, left-wing this and that, and they won't do it. So you thought $6 was a lot. I told my wife it could get to 8 or 10. And that's the leftist dream. Because at the end of it all, what left-wing people love is to ruin what you like. They get off on kicking over your sandcastle. You wonder why about these policies. Well, why build the apartment complex near the nice middle class neighborhood, the ghetto ass apartment complex? Why outlaw beef? Why cover up boobs and beautiful women? Why make gas expensive so you can't drive? It's about the cruelty. Don't you get it? Why make every superhero woke and stupid and a strong black female instead of Batman being the white guy he was? Why do all this? Because you like it. And they want to ruin it because you like
their
it.
turn.
It's a culture of resentment, leftism. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because I wondered forever, why would they make it this way? Because they don't even like it. They make all this woke Star Wars. Dude, there's a Star Wars movie coming out. And it could come out today. I don't know when it's coming out. Nobody cares. Remember when Star Wars movies would come out? It was like an event of the universe, and everyone was going crazy.
Even if you weren't into it, you knew about it.
It was buzzing everywhere in the culture, and they woke the fuck out of Star Wars so hard with the future, the Force is female, and the purple-haired Admiral woman, and all the dumb shit they did in those Disney Star Wars movies, that this stuff's coming out and nobody cares. It was like, no. And the reason they ruined Star Wars is not because they like the female heroes they made. They hate you. They hate that you had something you like. There's this thing in leftist, like resentful people. They look at the beautiful quarterback and cheerleader, the homecoming king and queen, and instead of being inspired and going, how do I become that? They go, I should destroy that because I don't have it. It's exactly how they think. They're disgusting. And that's why you get all the Somali like learning center and you get all, it's about fucking you up and destroying what you have out of evil resentment. And this is from the beginning of time. The very first murder in the Bible was what? Why did Cain kill Abel? Because he was jealous of how happy God was with Abel's sacrifice. So he murdered his own brother. And I think communism, it's like the spirit of Cain. That's what communism, leftism, that's what it is. It's I hate you because you're happy. Why am I not happy? Why do I not have what you have? I'm going to take it from you. That's what it is, man. And that's why they want to destroy the Golden State. This used to be the best place to live, man. People come out here and find their futures. You know, just disgusting.
Yeah, they are the little punk ass teacher's pet who, teacher, he did this, he did that, and you just want to go over there and fuck that kid up so bad. And they're just being a little snitch because, like you said, it's resentment. It all goes back to dad. Maybe their dad didn't hug them, dad wasn't around, so they're jealous of all the the kids who had their parents and the successful athlete who had mom and dad there to hug him and cry with him after their victory. And the girls, they didn't have that boost in their self-confidence from their dad, and they're jealous as well. So now the rabbit has the gun and they're going to fuck all your shit up. And I saw a video that, you'll see a meme where somebody will put a name on one of the people in the meme and the name on another. Like it'll be a picture of a guy get punched in the face, and the guy getting punched is Iran and the guy punching him's USA, And this is a video about this little Asian dude was on a standing in the doorway of a bus. He's arguing with an older white guy, he's probably a little younger, but they're both, let's say, over 40. And you can't hear what they're saying, but there's subtitles. And they're arguing. The white guy turns around and goes like this, whatever, turns around. The fucking Asian dude shoves him in the back of the head, and he goes, what are you going to do? Thank you. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for you to drop this in my lap for years. A completely justified beatdown that I'm gonna bring to life from the depths of Hades, and I'm gonna unleash it on your fucking jawline right now, right?
Oh.
So he turns around, and the Asian dude is like holding something in a shopping bag and something in his other arm, and he's looking at the guy, and he's totally unprepared for the beating that he called upon himself. He literally shoved this dude in the back of the head and said, what are you gonna do? The guy turns around and he's still holding his stuff. Like these leftists and progressive who have been destroying and shitting on and vomiting on and eroding our happiness, our way of life, what made America great, our entertainment, our culture, our policy, our beliefs, our family. You've been doing all of that, but when we turn around to beat your ass and take our culture back and take all of those things back, you're like, huh? This dude stood there holding his items, not putting them down and putting his hands up, not even trying. This dude beat the living shit out of this man. And it was beautiful. He's punching him. And since he won't put his stuff down, all he can do is like turn his head. This guy's smacking him and smacking him. And he makes a mistake. Obviously, this guy's never been in a fight, knows nothing about fighting. So why would you start a fight? He turns his head like this because he's like cowering. For some reason, he turns like this. And the guy grabs his head and just brings it down right into his knee. Oh. Fucking shatters his nose. The guy turns and there's blood streaming out of both nostrils. And he's like, oh, why did he do that? That's because you're a little piece of shit and you called that down upon yourself.
But what do you learn, Jericho, from fathers and men as a boy? What do you learn about violence?
You don't my dad would tell me, son, don't start no SH and there won't be no IT.
Yeah, don't start none, won't be none.
But if somebody brings it to you,
you can absolutely expect some if you start some.
Yep.
You learn that as a man when you have men in your culture, masculinity. When you have just women hysterical, women don't understand violence. And that's why women are more violent than men, right? And they'll slap men and all this, and they do all this stuff and freaking out and no emotional regulation. Then you look at young men raised by mothers and no fathers, and all of a sudden, what you looking at, motherfucker, makes sense to you. And all that killing over nothing makes a lot of sense when you raise boys without understanding the severity and the suddenness of violence and death.
Yeah. And the permanence of death. Because you have a bunch of boys, a bunch of young men who have the strength of young men and boys, but the emotions of the females who raise them. And that's a bad combination. And not too long ago, we were out somewhere and my son said something about some guy, dad, oh, look at this or look at that. I said, hey, don't talk about people like that. Don't say that shit out loud, because if that guy hears you and decides to do something about it, I'm going to have to step in and do it. I'm not going to let anything happen to you. I said, but also when you're out on your own and you're a young man, don't talk shit because you don't know what somebody's dealing with. They might want to do something about it. Yeah. Are you ready to do something about it? If not, don't be saying that shit.
Right.
Don't say shit like that out loud.
Back in the old days, this is almost 20 years ago, probably like 2004, 5, 6, something like that. I was down in PB, which was the college bar area, and I was with Merlin and Rocky. And Rocky served about 7 to 8 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. He's an Army. He's a grunt. He was a foot soldier. He did some hardcore stuff. He doesn't let people mess around. And he's pretty big. Even though he's Filipino, he has like a Dutch grandfather. So he's like 6'1". He's a big guy for a Filipino. And we were just at some taco shop at 1 a.m, and some girls started talking shit to him at another table because they were drunk. You know, people just start. And it was like 2 college girls with their 2 college guy dates or whatever. And she called him a chink. And he was like getting mad and like pushed back. And I stand up and I'm holding him back and I'm like backing him out the door because I know how this is going to go. He's on liberty from fighting in Afghanistan for a week or 2. And he's headed back to go fight in Afghanistan again in Iraq. And they're calling him racist shit and doing all this stuff. And you should have seen the guys that were with the girls. They're like trying to eat their tacos. Like, would you shut the fuck up?
You're going to get us beaten.
Like, because it's not you that he's going to go after, you dumb bitch. Would you stop it? And it just reminded me of you telling your son, you're 12. Don't say anything because it's going to fall on me. And then I'm the one that has to do There's this whole thing that stupid women like to do where they pit 2 men against each other. It's like, let's you and him fight. You know?
Nah. But you know, my son, he had to be 9 at the time. So this kid was, I think, 11. And we're in boxing class, this little Asian kid. And he tells my daughter, because they're both in the class together, my son and daughter take the same class. He tells my daughter, well, why don't you go back to the plantation?
Uh-oh.
And she was 13 at the time. So she understood that, maybe not fully, but she understood what that was in reference to and that he was saying it to hurt her feelings. And it didn't really bother her. She wasn't crying or anything, but she goes, Dad, you know, that kid just told me. And then she told me, and I was like, what? And so they had this thing coming up where one of the drills they would do in boxing classes, they put a 45-pound weight on the floor and you put your left foot on that weight. And then you throw body shots and try to knock the other person off of the weight. And so I told my son, I said, hey.
So you dressed up as a 12-year-old. No, just kidding.
Yeah, shave. I hunched down. I looked online. What do 12-year-olds wear?
You know, in a movie, little kids get like 3 little kids, and then they put a trench coat on, so they're like, oh, it's like go see Terminator rated R. What if there was a reverse of that as an adult? I don't know how it would work, but
you have to like scrunch down or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I tried to make my voice squeaky, and I had like a little backpack on. Oh, it did the boxing class.
Is this where the boxing is?
Excuse me, sir. My cell phone goes off. Oh, my bad. Yeah. So I told my son, I said, hey, ask the coach if you could have that kid. He goes, why? I said, he made fun of your sister. He goes, all right, bet. And he bangs his boxing gloves together.
He puts them out.
He goes, bet. Bangs his boxing gloves together. And this kid, like I said, was 11 years old, so he's considerably taller than him. But my son was a little bit more experienced than him. Plus, he was fucking pissed. Like siblings fight like cats and dogs at home or with each other. But when somebody from the outside tries, it's like, no, fuck that. I know I just got done calling her whatever, pulling her hair, but not you, motherfucker. So he went over there and he asked coach, hey, can I spar with him? He's like, yeah. And he kind of he paused, like, yeah, you sure? Because the kid was so much bigger. He's like, oh, yeah. And he goes over there, man, my son kicked his fucking ass. Wow, all body shots. So it was like hit as hard as you want. And he's smaller than you, so you're not going to be a bitch and cry because a 9-year-old's beating your ass, right? But he had that kid fucking like this, protecting his ribs, all scared and shit. But
see, now that's good parenting and good brothering. There you go.
Oh yeah, he hates her. You ask him, I hate her. But nobody else better say shit about his sister. Yeah. Fuck that kid up.
Nobody better say anything about my idiot sister except for me.
about her dumbass, but me. Oh yeah.
That's how family is, though. You could despise your relatives. Anyone mess with them, it's hammer time.
I hated my older brother when I was a kid. Hated him. Textbook. He was the kind of older brother you see on a movie. Really? Home Alone.
Was he like Buzz from Home Alone?
He was like Buzz, but worse. More vitriol, meaner, physical. Wow. Kevin never got his ass kicked. My brother would kick my fucking ass. I used to tell him, I fucking hate you when he beat me up. I hated that motherfucker. But one day, he's coming home, and I'm ahead of him. I look back, and he has a bloody nose. And I'm like, what happened? He was like, oh, I just got in a fight. That kid over there. And that kid was older than him. My brother's 4 years older than me. So that kid had to be 5 or 6 years older than me. And I remember, the anger tears. Everything's blurry. You're trying to see. But I just fucking went over there. I threw my backpack off. Man, I worked that fucking kid. But just, Ralphie from fucking Christmas Story.
Daddy's going to kill Ralphie.
Crying. Dude, I was crying. I was so mad. I was like, you hurt my brother. But I hated that motherfucker. And then guess what? I get up after beating up this kid, and all the other kids are like, whoa, the kid's so small, blah, blah, blah. That motherfucker's across the street going in the front door. Fucking left me there. I was like, you fucking asshole. But that's all right. There's a happy ending to this story, like a Korean massage. I got home, and I told my mom, and she could tell I'd been crying. And so what happened? I was like, I fought, that kid beat up Ray, and I beat him up, and he left me. What? Come here. Grab that belt and close the bedroom door. Hey, fucked him up. And my mom, like, here, sit down. Like, I got like a popsicle with A-Team and shit. I had a good night. But yeah, that fucking asshole.
Accused of a crime they never committed or whatever. What does it say in the A-Team?
I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, court-martialed for a crime they didn't commit. They escaped to the Los Angeles Underground. If you have a problem, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
Hold on, here it is.
And how cool is that?
I found it. In 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles Underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem and no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team. Dude,
you just have those
Universal Studios and lifted the A-Team van. I remember that was a thing growing up in Southern California. Kids would always have a picture because they went to Universal Studios in LA and they had the big black and red van, and you could grab the bumper and lift it. And it was a full-size van, but obviously there was some it was empty or there was some pulley or something. But I remember my cousin showing me a picture of him doing that. So,
dude, that was the coolest shit, man. And they shot the logo into the screen.
Right.
Man, so great. But you watch it today and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking?
We've talked about this plenty before, because those of you new to Double Impact, the reason we started this channel is because of our love of Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, Stallone, and Arnie. Those are the big four. That is the Mount Rushmore of action. And we've talked about 80 shows, Magnum PI, Knight Rider, and Airwolf, and the fucking intro songs. Where is that now in television? And
I think it was like a handful of guys who did it all, because you had what's that guy's name? Steve Carroll, I think was his name, or Canal. Like there's a handful of guys that produced all of those fucking shows. Right. Glenn Larson, Knight Rider and all that shit. Like you got this cabal of dudes that just created all of this fucking amazing shit that we just loved as a dude. Magnum PI. That's so good. There was probably a house band at like NBC Universal, and just like, what show is it? All right, give me the music. No problem. 18.
From the top, boys, from the top.
You guys play? No, man. This isn't Magnum. It's 18. Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
18.
No, you come in on 4. Okay, ready?
Dude, Airwolf. They just step back and let the guy with the fucking keyboard. Dude, that was all keyboards right there. You guys take 5. I got this one.
Yeah.
There were just so many. Greatest American Hero, Hardcastle and McCormick.
Fall Guy was sung by Lee Majors himself. I might fall from a tall building. Yeah, that's a good one.
Dude, I'm the unknown stunt man that makes Eastwood look so fine.
Right.
Dude, come on, man. What a fucking... The 80s, I told Dean this last week when we talked to him. The 80s is the greatest decade, man. Period.
It is.
Period. No more Prisoner of the Moment. I know I was raised in it, but it is. Damn it. Every technology was...
You had the state of the art. Didn't have wokeness yet.
Oh, what a sweet spot. The 80s was the clit of decades. 80s is the G spot of decades. It's perfect. The music was along enough. We had enough great hits to survive on. If we took music up until 1989, we're good. We're good. We got some bangers in there. Amazing artists. Come on, man.
Have you ever seen the clip from Miami Vice where they're playing Phil Collins in the air tonight when they're on the way to do a thing? Pocket Tubs. That's Michael Mann, by the way. Michael Mann with Thief with James Caan was his first movie. Go watch Thief. It's free on Amazon Prime. It's so good. And then, of course, Heat is the all-time classic by Michael Mann. And he did Collateral. He's done a lot of great movies, Michael Mann. But you'll love Thief with James Caan. Again, free on Amazon Prime. But geez, what a time. What a time. And
everything, commercials, TV, movies, music.
I need
politics. Politics.
I need more. Guys, speaking of I need more, coming out on June 2nd, Dean Cain, All-American Lawman, Volume 2. That is coming on June 2nd. That is 2 weeks from today or yesterday or whatever. You're going to love it. And speaking of that kind of action and that kind of stuff, I've been making these fun little ads. I've been tweeting them out and all that. But we're trying to capture that feeling. Bullets, babes, bad guys, right? This is our 80s stuff that we love. Today it's better buckle up, And you have, I didn't mean to make it all an alliteration with B. You had a van running over 2 bad guys in the first panel there. You got gunfights in an office where you're stealing secrets from the bad guy. You got a cybernetic warrior in Hong Kong. Guys, this is just like that 80s stuff you loved. You go to bigmancomics.com right now. You can get the first 8 pages for free. And there's like no strings attached or anything like that. You just get the first 6 pages of All-American Lawman Volume 2, and you can read those and have a blast reading that. It's a lot of fun. So, Jericho, you read Volume 1, and you did. That it's awesome.
It is. And as soon as we turned the last page and closed the book after we read it, we were ready for the next one. So I'm sure much like everybody else who read the first one, we've been waiting. This is a great opportunity to get the first one so you're up to speed when the second one comes out.
Right.
It's a great story, and it's everything that he described. It's everything we were just talking about. in book form, in comic book form. It's the same feelings you get from watching all that cool shit from back in the day. Just, you're holding it in your hand. And I would challenge you to not blow through it in one reading, even though you could. It is that, exciting, and you're can't wait to turn the next page, but just to build that excitement, because that's the way that I have to read it with my son, because school and everything, so we don't have time to just sit down. I guess we could on a weekend, but it's just more fun to read a little bit and then wait till the next day and then read a little bit more, and then he kind of gets a glimpse of the next page, and maybe there's a bunch of gunshots and shit. It's like, Dad, come on, one more page. I'm like, nope, gotta wait. Chris Tanaka is here. It's to this point. We gotta wait to see what happens. So we're excited, and it's everything you've been asking for. It's everything complete opposite of what we've been bitching about. Complete opposite of that fucking sludge that they're trying to sell to you as quality entertainment.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, guys, be ready for that. We're ready to launch it. If you want to get caught up, you see behind me, Volume 1 is available for $9.99 on your phone, on your laptop, your computer, your iPad. You go to Big Man Comics, it's on the front page. You get it, you buy it now, you read it now, you keep it forever. No tricks, no weird DRM where you got to log into some site to read it. You get a readable PDF of Volume 1. You can still get a print edition. I've got a handful of the first printing. You can still order that on my website too. You'll love it. It's as good as anything you're going to watch or read. It's really, really fun stuff. I'm very sincere in my absolute adoration of the action genre, of the leading man action hero. And I take it seriously. I'm not being ironic and making fun of it. I love it. Mm-hmm. I really do love it. And I think it's a lot of fun and a lot of thrills and a lot of inspiration. So I try to write my stuff that way. So please go check that out, because it means a lot to me. Let's see. Let me check the comments and we'll go soon. Hold on. I got things I got to do, but it's been a great show. Thank you, Jericho. Chewy Cadaver says, I quit my crack that is comic a year ago. I might have to pick these up. There's a link, bigmancomics.com. That's it, bigmancomics.com. I just put that in the chat. There you go. And that'll do it. And when you go to the website, at the top, it says campaigns. You click on that. There's the Hong Kong connection. That's the new one coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't shown that cover, that Chow Yun Fat style cover that I did show. I shouldn't show people that yet. I'm going to wait. But please, Chewy Cadaver, please get all my stuff. You'll love it. I hate wokeness. I quit working at Warner Brothers and Disney and all that because of wokeness. And I've teamed up with guys like Tyrus and Dean Cain. We have the Unstoppable Tyrus. These are in stock, and they ship now if you order now. 120 pages. So this is like a 2-hour movie. I write them the same way that Hollywood writes those 3-hour or 3-act, 2-hour action movies. I write them the same way. Fully, beautifully illustrated. The people I work with and myself, we all worked at Disney and Warner Brothers as comic book artists, animators on Disney movies. Like, we know what we're doing. This is good stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've been a writer my whole life. I've been a professional writer for over a quarter century, a professional illustrator for the same amount of time. So it's high quality stuff. It'll kill anything from Disney or Warner Brothers.
Yeah. And it's not, and on every level, not just the artwork. Of course, visually, it's stunning, but you have to have a good story to go along with it.
Right.
It looks great. It's like a beautiful car, but the engine's weak, or a hot chick, and she goes, actually, indigenous people, and you're like,
here we go.
Hot, though.
Here we go.
Fucking idiot. So yes, it has to look great. It does look great, but the story is awesome too, and it reads so quick. Tyrus,
this one.
any of them. Yeah, any of them. We just finished the Unstoppable Tyrus, the latest. But all of them, Empyrean, Dean Cain, Tyrus, you're getting that same level, that same flow of the story in all of them.
Yeah, but Chewy Cadaver, pick it up today. Tell all your friends about it, because it's one thing to come on here and complain, right? We complain about the culture and this and that. That's fine, and people should complain, but you have to do something about it. Because if you just complain, you're just bitching and moaning. And what can you do about it? I don't know, you Chewy Cadaver. Maybe you can write and draw comics. Maybe you can't. Maybe you can make movies. Maybe you can't. I'm guessing you can't, not because there's something wrong with you, but just because it's rare, and the odds are you can't or you don't. So if you don't make entertainment, but you're tired of shit entertainment, guess what you need to do? You need to support it and tell others. And you don't support it because you're doing me a fucking favor or I want the money. You support it because it's good and it's entertaining. The number one thing I do in my comics, you can ask Jericho this, I don't preach I don't say, and then Tyrus said, Democrats suck and we own the libs. I don't write that way. That's just as annoying as their stupid fucking woke writing when they hate conservatives and Christians. I don't write that way. This is exactly like Lethal Weapon, Indiana Jones, James Bond. It's just an adventure. I'm not sitting up there grandstanding about how much smarter I am than you because I have the right politics. That's annoying.
No.
Nobody
Either way, that's bullshit. And I would say it's even worse.
That's not art. That's just propaganda. It's bullshit.
And I would say it's even worse if it were coming from, the quote unquote right wing, because you know better. You've seen the bullshit.
Yeah, we're supposed to know better. We're not supposed to be those weirdo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just as bad if it's no matter which group is doing it. But don't worry about that. Don't concern yourself with that because you're not going to find that in any of these projects. So
yeah, I don't do that. I just want you to have fun. I got tired of not. I love comics, since I was very young. I haven't been to a comic book store and bought comics in like 7 years. And I work for the companies and I quit going and buying comics. So what does that tell you?
If you have a fantasy with sitting on a throne and sending somebody money electronically and saying, entertain me, right. Gabe is your guy. You send him an electronic payment. He will send you a copy of.
I will send you entertainment, and
you will be entertained.
22-page pamphlet for $5. Mine are 116 pages, 120 pages, stuff like that. I'm going to do them a little shorter because I realize doing them that long, I can't put them out frequently because it's a very small crew. It's me and my wife. And then sometimes I hire freelance artists and colorists. My wife. So the next Dean Cain is an 80-page graphic novel as opposed to the first one was 116. And that's just to get it out faster. Still the same quality and all that, but I want to do them more often. So yeah, get it today. You'll love it. For $9.99, dude, we were talking about like fast food. You can get Dean Cain, All-American Lawman, and Empyrean from my website. Empyrean is my love letter to Star Wars. You can get those cheaper than you get a combo meal at McDonald's. Just think about that. And you'll own it forever. And it's cheaper than a Big Mac combo. Okay.
And much healthier for you too.
Yeah, much better for you. So you got anything else for him? It's 12:30. We should probably skedaddle.
No, that's it. You know what our names are. Search us across all platforms and follow and subscribe and all that shit.
All right. There's no Double Impact without you guys. There's no Big Man Comics. There's no Jericho Green online presence without you guys. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, and we'll be back here to have a lot of fun with you guys. We put out shorts all week for you guys to watch and have fun with. I do another show on YouTube. It's called Two Sketchy Guys with veteran Disney animator. He's in his 70s. He was like 50 years in animation. Fox Animation, Blue Sky, DreamWorks, I believe. No. He worked on all those Ice Age. He worked on a ton of anyway. He has a wealth of knowledge. He's a good man and he's a super talented artist. And he and I vibe on being artists. You know what I mean? So check that out. That's called Two Sketchy Guys. And again, we put out shorts, we put out full-length things, and we'll talk to you later. Adios. Have a great day, guys. Save. Okay.